You don't need more motivation. You need to know what's actually wrong. If you've been trying to change your life for months, but somehow keep ending up in the same place, you probably don't need another motivational speech. You need to figure out what is actually keeping you stuck. Because when everything feels wrong, most people try to fix everything at once. New routine, new goals. Wake up early, exercise, study, eat better, stop using your phone, be productive, and after a few days, everything falls apart. Not because you're incapable of changing, because you tried to change your entire life without first figuring out what actually needs to change. So instead of starting with motivation, start with an audit. I use a simple 6-step system. Audit, identify, choose, act, track, review. Let's go through it. 1. Audit your life. Before changing anything, stop and look at where you actually are. Take a piece of paper or open a blank page. Look at the important areas of your life: time, health, work or studies, money, relationships, habits, goals. Now ask yourself, what's working? What's not working? And most importantly, what am I avoiding? Don't try to make yourself feel better. Don't write what you think your life should look like. Write what is actually happening. Maybe you're spending hours on your phone. Maybe you're constantly tired. Maybe you're studying but making no progress. Maybe you're working without knowing what you're working toward. Maybe your days aren't terrible, but they're going nowhere. The purpose of the audit isn't to judge yourself. It's to get an honest starting point. Number 2, identify the biggest problem. Now look at everything you've written. Don't try to fix all of it. Ask, which one problem is affecting the rest of my life the most? This is important because problems are connected. If your sleep is terrible, your energy suffers. If your time is constantly disappearing, your goals suffer. If you have no structure, your habits become inconsistent. If you're overwhelmed, you may avoid everything. You don't need to solve 10 problems. You need to find the bottleneck. The one thing that, if improved, would make other things easier. That's your starting point. Number 3, choose one area. Once you've identified the biggest problem, choose one area to work on. Just one, not 5. If your biggest problem is that you waste most of your day, don't suddenly start a 6-month fitness transformation too. Fix the thing that's currently holding everything else back. Give yourself a clear target. Not, I need to become productive. Instead, for the next 7 days, I'm going to protect 2 hours of focused work every day. That's something you can actually act on. Number 4, create a small action. This is where most people make another mistake. They choose a goal that's too big. If your life has been disorganized for months, you don't need a perfect 5 a.m. routine tomorrow. You need one action you can actually repeat. Make it small enough that you have very little excuse to avoid it. Instead of, I'll study for 5 hours every day. Start with, I'll complete one focused study session before using entertainment. Instead of, I'll completely stop wasting time on my phone. Try, I'll keep my phone away during my first focused work session. The goal at this stage isn't to prove how disciplined you are. It's to create evidence that you can keep a promise to yourself. Number 5, track your progress. Now you need evidence, not feelings. You don't have to track your entire life. Track the one thing you're trying to change. If you're fixing your time, track where your time goes. If you're studying, track your completed sessions. If you're working on exercise, track your workouts. If you're working toward a goal, track the actions that move you toward it. The purpose of tracking isn't to create more work. It's to answer one question. Am I actually doing what I said I would do? Because sometimes we think we're failing when we're actually making progress. And sometimes we think we're making progress because we're constantly planning without actually doing anything. Tracking gives you the evidence. Number 6, review every week. This is the step that turns tracking into a system. Once a week, stop and review. Ask yourself, what worked? What didn't? What kept getting in my way? What should I change next week? And then make one adjustment, not 10. 1. Maybe your target was unrealistic. Maybe your environment was making it difficult. Maybe you were trying to do it at the wrong time. Maybe the problem wasn't motivation at all. The review helps you figure that out, and then you repeat the cycle.